creme de la creme. Favorites. Favorites. Yearly favorites. Favorites. Okay. Today we're doing my beauty favorites of 2019. I'm so excited to show you guys my favorites of this year. These products are the real deal. I really thought long and hard about the products that I used all the time, my absolute favorite products that I just feel like are the best in clean beauty, hands down. And I have so many products I can't wait to share with you. But today's video is going to be a little different. I saw that Samantha, I always forget her last name and I watch all of her videos. Samantha Randall, something like that. You guys probably know who she is. She did a comparing her 2018 to 2019 favorites. So I thought I would do a video similar to that one because I thought it was a really great idea. So I do have my video from last year, so I'm going to compare my favorites last year, let you guys know if they're still my favorite or if I have some changed opinions about them. So let's just go ahead and get started. If you're not already subscribed, I would love to have you. I'm almost at 10K. I'd love to get there before 2020. So if you are watching this and you're not subscribed, please do so. It would make my whole year a beautiful year. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get right into it. Let's get into them. This is a throwback setup. Okay, so I didn't mention a primer in my video last year. I mentioned the Gressa Minimalist Illuminating Serum, I guess, as my primer. Is that still my favorite? No, I haven't tried that since I had it last year. I really don't know what my thoughts are on it anymore just because I've moved on to other things. I do remember it was a really light oil that had a great like sheen to it, but it hasn't really remained in my routine, so because of that I don't think it's really my favorite anymore. But my favorite of 2019, I only have one primer here to mention because it's the only one that I feel like actually makes a difference in how my makeup looks and how my makeup wears, and it is actually fairly new to me. It's the Tatcha the Silk Canvas Primer. This stuff is just the bomb. It is a silicone primer, but it doesn't have that classic like clear gel silicone feel. It's super silky, just like the name suggests. It really feels like silk on your skin, and it just leaves the prettiest base for makeup. This doesn't irritate my skin, it doesn't break me out, and I feel like it actually does have some good skincare benefits in it as well. This is pricey, but I think it's so worth it. Really the only primer that I feel like made it out of 2019 as a favorite, and I will be continuing to use this, and it's just my ride or die. See, my skin looked good. I was also skinnier. My favorite foundation I had two foundations that I mentioned in the 2018 video. The Kosas Tinted Face Oil and the Alima Pure Satin Matte Foundation. And the Kosas Tinted Face Oil actually made it into my favorites again for 2019. It's such a fantastic foundation. I will go over a little bit more about it in a few. But the Alima Pure Satin Matte Foundation, I do also love that powder foundation. It's not in this video because it just really hasn't like stuck with me enough to make it as a 2019 favorite. It is a really nice powder foundation, but I feel like there are some others that are similar to it, so that's why it's not in this video. But I do have 3 foundations to share with you guys for 2019. I take a shot every time I say 2019 that I wanted to share with you guys, so let's just get started. The first two, you guys probably already know that I was going to mention these. They have been the only foundations I've been really sticking to for the past year. They're incredible. They're the best clean foundations. They are some of the only clean foundations that work on my skin, stay on my skin, and give me enough coverage. The first one, I'm glad to report it's affordable. It's the Pacifica A Light Clean Foundation. This is my super pale shade, 40 NF. I have 3 to 4 bottles of this. I just love the coverage of this. It is more of a thicker feeling foundation, meaning you can feel it on your skin, but it's not super heavy. It doesn't accentuate texture. It's a really nice medium to fuller coverage upon first application, and you can build it up to super full coverage. It is oil free. It has a satin finish. It does set down well. It works, I feel like, for any skin type. Personally, I have combo skin, so it doesn't accentuate dry skin, but it also doesn't make me too oily throughout the day if I do set it. So I think this is just a fantastic foundation release from Pacifica. You can mix this with other things. The only downside, this can be a little bit heavy if you use too much or don't apply it correctly. I love to use it with a sponge. I feel like it just shears it out enough so that it sits really beautifully on the skin. I just love this stuff, and it's affordable. If you guys haven't given this a shot yet, I definitely recommend it because of the things I just said. Then my other foundation favorite is, of course, the Ilia True Skin Serum Foundation. I use the shade SF2. I've mentioned in so many videos, you guys know that I love this foundation. This is very different from the Pacifica foundation. It is super thin. It is true to the name. It is super serum-like. You can't feel this on your skin. It feels super lightweight, so if you don't like the feeling of foundation or you just want something really light, I would totally go for this one. It offers less coverage than the Pacifica one. It's more of like a medium lighter coverage upon the first layer, but I do find that it's really buildable. I can get a lot of coverage out of it. I love how this makes my skin look. It looks so incredibly skin-like. It's unlike any other finish of a foundation. It looks like skin. I don't know how else to describe it. It's really innovative foundation. I think Ilia knocked it out of the park with this foundation. I love that it's an aloe-based foundation. It doesn't irritate my skin. It doesn't break me out. It lasts a really good amount of time, and it's just a perfect everyday foundation, I would suggest. If you have pretty good skin to begin with, I would go with the Ilia one. If you need more coverage, Pacifica is probably the way to go, but you can also build this one up. So also, this depends on your price point and your preferences. The finish on that one, by the way, I would also call it satin. It's a little dewy, but not in like an oily type of way. It's just like it has a really nice glow to the skin, but it can be set down no problem, and it lasts a beautiful amount of time. Need a drink already. Okay, and then the last foundation is the Kosas Tinted Face Oil. This is, I feel like it's so innovative that it's made it to my favorites again. This, I don't really use this a ton on camera. This is like an everyday foundation. Has lighter coverage. The consistency is, it's like a dry oil, so it's really not oily feeling on the skin. It lasts a good amount of time, even for me when I get oily throughout the day. It's just so quick and effortless to do. I mean, the bottle does get a little bit messy, but I think it's just such an interesting foundation formula. There's really nothing else like it on the market, and that's why I always reach for it, because it really, I feel like it filled the gap in the clean foundation market. Really in the foundation market in general, there wasn't anything like this, so props to Kosas. I love that they're innovative, and I love that they really think outside of the box in terms of their foundation. My favorite concealer last year was the Cloven Hollow Concealer. Do I still like that concealer? No, not at all. I don't really know how I ever liked that. I feel like now that I recently tried it like probably a couple weeks ago, and I don't know if it's because just the tube I had was dried out, but it didn't look good on my skin. I don't know, maybe I just had a different skin type, or I used it a specific way, or that one was just old, but I don't really like that concealer anymore. I'd be open to trying it again, but it's definitely not my favorite of 2019. I have 3 different ones here that are my favorite. I will start with, I feel like is my absolute favorite. It's the Cover FX Power Play Concealer. I didn't expect this to be my favorite, but man, oh man. The applicator's a little bit weird. It just has like this sponge tip on the tip of it. But the reason I love this concealer, because it's the most full coverage concealer that I found that works for my under eyes. I've talked about this before, but I always have trouble with my under eyes either looking cakey, creasing, looking dry, or just looking really bad by the end of the day. I feel like that's just because, I don't know, I have fine lines under there, my eye shape, it just makes everything crease. And this I feel like is the perfect consistency where it gives me enough coverage, but it does not crease, or it's not too thin where it sinks into lines, or it's not too thick where it really gets stuck in lines, if that makes any sense. I just love the coverage. I love the performance. It's not like super clean, but I'm willing to compromise a little bit for a great concealer, and this is a totally great concealer. I don't think I will ever be without this again. It just looks really good. What is that? Ow. And the other 2 are sort of similar consistencies. My other favorite is the Hello Fab Bendy Avocado Concealer. I use the shade N-Light 1 in the Cover FX concealer, by the way, which works for me when I'm tan. When I'm not tan, it really goes either way. I could go a little bit lighter, but I think that one works. Anyway, for the Hello Fab concealer, I use the shade 0.5, which is the lightest shade. I'm pretty sure the shade range in this is pretty weird. This has more of like a yellow undertone, which I really don't mind. I think it works well for my skin. This is one of my favorites because it's really thin. It's sort of like opposite of this. This is more of like a thicker concealer. This one's really thin, but it is the perfect thinness. So again, it doesn't like sink right into the lines. It sort of just moves with your skin. That's why it's called a bendy concealer. It sort of flexes with your natural eye creases, so it doesn't just settle into them and sort of stick there. So it looks really beautiful. I think this is great. It has more of like a medium coverage. It's not as full coverage as the Cover FX one. So I do reach for this one over this one, but if I'm going for like a lighter everyday look, I would definitely use this one. Super thin, doesn't really feel like makeup on your skin, and overall a great concealer. And then I wanted to mention the Ilia True Skin Concealer. I had an interesting relationship with this concealer. At first, I didn't really like it, but I feel like once I learned how to use it, it was really like transformative. It was really transformative. My trick with this concealer is I love it for spot concealing. You can use it under your eyes as well. I think it looks beautiful under the eyes, but this on spots is freaking incredible. It's similar to the foundation where it doesn't accentuate dry patches. It looks so much like skin. It just makes your skin look so healthy, and it wears wonderfully throughout the day. I use the shade SC 0.5. I've also used SC 1.5, I think, which is a little bit deeper. But anyway, my trick for this is let it sit on your skin like you can really let it sit for a while. I don't think it ever sets, but I will usually just dot this whenever I need it, wherever I need it, and then do like my brows or do something else and go back. And when you blend this out, you will get full coverage out of this. If you blend it right away, it's gonna be lighter coverage. It's not my favorite that way, but with that trick, it's an incredible concealer. You can also do that same thing under your eyes because it doesn't really set quickly, so you have a lot of time to work with it. So that was my third favorite concealer of 2019. Okay, and then next up for powder, my favorite one last year was the 14E Cosmetics Aloe Nourish powder. I've actually been wanting to try that again because I remember how much I loved it. So I can't say if that's still a favorite because I really don't remember what it looks like. I would have to try it again with the products that I have. I might order that soon just to try it out. But I do actually remember that it was super but I do remember it was super similar to my favorite powder of this year. You guys probably already know this one as well. I only have one. I only think there's one that's worthy of being my 2019 favorite, and it is the Ilia Fade Into You Soft Focus Finishing Powder. I've tried so many finishing powders, setting powders, under eye powders this year because I feel like I just had such a hard time with my concealers and powders and everything just looking not the best, and this one looks so stunning. This is so good. My beef with this is you don't get a lot of product. Like, I literally use these so quick. Like, within a couple months I have to buy a new one, and they're pricey, but it's the only powder that looks smooth and beautiful under the eyes. I really don't even know how to describe this to you guys. Just really watch my videos where I use it because it's like magic. It makes your skin look airbrushed, and this is the only translucent powder that I feel like doesn't take away my coverage, and it doesn't darken my under eyes, especially when you have fair skin. Like, some powders just like they darken your under eyes, and like that's not a good look. You want your under eyes to be brighter, and I feel like this does brighten them up a little bit, and it looks so smooth, so airbrushed. It's not drying or tight on the skin. It's really just like the perfect powder. It's not drying, it looks beautiful, it sets your makeup, it does keep oil at bay. It's not the most like oil absorbing powder, but I don't really want that because those usually do dry out my skin. So this one for under the eyes is beautiful. Sometimes I love this on the face too. Sometimes I won't use it on my face just to like reserve it specifically for my under eyes because it's like the only one I like for them. But yeah, I would totally recommend trying this. I think it's so beautiful, especially if you have like maybe more mature skin, more dry skin, and you always have trouble finding a powder that looks good on you. Definitely give this one from Ilia a shot. Okay, what did I pick for bronzer? My favorite bronzer was the Lila B bronzer. I still like that bronzer. I think it's a great bronzer. It is more pricey. In terms of the tone of that, I think maybe I was self-tanning more. It just shows up a little bit more orange when I have fair skin. I think it's a beautiful finish though, and a really great bronzer. I did discover a couple others that are my favorite this year though, that have definitely surpassed that as my 2019 favorite. So let's get into those. Okay, so I actually have 3 here. I only have 2 in person and then 1 to mention. The first one is the Honest Beauty. This is actually one of their highlights. It's a dusk reflection luminizing glow powder. This would be a beautiful highlight if you have deeper skin. For me, it's the prettiest glowy bronzer without being too shimmery or too orange on my skin. It It kind of seems like very warm on my hand right now, but once you blend it in, it almost has a little bit of a red undertone, which makes it just look so natural on the cheeks. I just love the luminescence of this without being glittery or really even like any shimmer that you can detect in it. Also, I love how it's affordable. You can grab Honest Beauty on Amazon. I love how accessible they are. Target as well. I think this is a great powder. It's more on like the higher end of the drugstore price wise, but I think it's a great bronzer option nonetheless. Nonetheless, I've been using this a ton in 2019 and yes. And then my next favorite bronzer is like something I didn't think I was gonna like at all. This is a Pacifica Radiance Powders. It has like the rinky dinkiest little packaging. Like, I don't really like this packaging. It's kind of tacky. But the formulas actually of all of these are so nice. This bronzer specifically, I'm almost hitting pan on this, is so smooth. It's extremely finely milled. And as you can tell, the tone is definitely a little bit more cooler toned as compared to the Honest Beauty one. And it looks so natural, which is again hard for me to find. It blends in like no other. It is like more of a sheer bronzer formula, but it can be built up because it has enough pigment where it does really build up if you apply multiple layers. This is really a fantastic bronzer. Again, more affordable, and you could grab it from Target. Creme de la creme. And the last bronzer I don't have on hand, but it is the Han Cosmetics Malibu bronzer. That one, you guys have seen me use that so much. It's so great. It's similar to the Pacifica one where it is matte. It's super smooth. It blends like no other. It has a light chocolatey smell. It is a fair bronzer, so if you have medium to deeper skin, I don't think that one would work for you. And I have tried a different shade of the Han bronzer, the Ibiza one, which has shimmer in it. Unfortunately, I don't think it's the same formula as Malibu, but I know that they do make a deeper shade, which might be matte as well, which might be similar to Malibu. I would have to try it out for myself to tell you guys that, but it is a really beautiful bronzer. If you have fair skin and you think that Malibu would work for you, I would totally try it out. Again, more affordable. It just blends so beautifully. It is matte, like I mentioned. If you want a shimmery one, I think the Honest Beauty one is great, but that is just unbeatable bronzer. It's really a classic in my collection. Even though I don't have Even though I don't have it on hand currently, just because I'm trying to use up some of my other products, I think it's a fantastic bronzer. And my favorite blush of last year was the Lila B Lip and Chic in Be Lovely. I do really love those cream blushes. They're more of a drier cream, which I think is nice. It doesn't make your skin oily and they last a great amount of time. But I have discovered some other blushes that are definitely favorited over those, so I will start talking about them. I have a couple cream and a couple powder bronzers. I will start with the creams. So one of my favorite cream blush formulas of the year are these Juice Beauty Last Looks Cream Blush. I have the shade here Flush, and then I have Orange Blossom. This is the first one I got. This was in a Petit Vour box. And then this is the second one that I picked up. This is definitely my favorite. It's just more of a muted color. This is great if you have like a medium skin tone or you just have like a tan or more yellow tone to your skin. I think this would look really good. But the reason I love these is because they are a super creamy cream, but not really in the oily sense. This is Flush and that one is Orange Blossom. So the reason I love these is when you put them on your cheeks, like if you have a matte base, it just adds life back to your face. Just with this product, it has the prettiest sheen, but it doesn't wear off and it's not really an oily sheen. It's so hard to describe the finish of these, but I think they're so beautiful. They're really lovely and pigmented, and I definitely want some more shades. I don't know why I haven't gotten more yet. These are just beautiful blushes. I always reach for these. These were the cream blushes that sort of got me into cream blushes. I was never really into them before, but these got me hooked on just the finish and the life that they can bring back to the face. So these are fantastic. And then my other favorite is the Honest Beauty cream blush. I only have one shade of this. I just use this all the time. It's the shade Rose Pink. These ones I feel like are a little bit thicker and a little bit more pigmented than the Juice Beauty ones, and they have like a satin finish, so they don't add too much glow to the cheek, but these are great because they just last incredibly long. I don't think the color ever fades off of the cheeks. If you want something that's super long wearing, I would definitely go for the Honest Beauty ones. Again, they're more affordable, which is great. I think it's just such a beautiful cream formula. Another one of those products that just got me hooked on cream blushes. I was like, wow, I didn't know they could be this good, but they are. Honest Beauty really put out some great products, you know? They're hitting it good. Oh my gosh, what? they're making hits. That's what I meant to say. Okay, and then next up I have two powder blushes, which are both shimmery as well. The first one is the Antonym Highlighting Blush in Cheek Crush. This is a super light peachy pink blush. What makes this so unique is the finish of it. It has a very small amount of blush pigment in it, but the glow it adds to the cheeks is incredible. It's so finely milled, like you can barely even see that there's any shimmer in it. I usually don't use shimmery blushes because I have texture on my cheeks and they just like accentuate that in a weird way, but because this is so finely milled, it just goes over super smooth, adds a glow to your cheeks, makes you look like a little cherub. It's just such a beautiful product. It is pricey, but I love the packaging as well. It's bulky, but it's bamboo, and you really get the whole vibe with this blush as well. They do have some other shades. I haven't yet to try their regular blushes or any other shades, but I really love this one. I feel like this is gonna last me forever, even though it's just like a little blush. It's just a little blush, but it'll last me forever. Or was I? Next blush. This blush is very new to me, but it's really stolen my heart that it's made it into this video. This is from Hourglass. It's their Mood Exposure Ambient Lighting Blush. This is pricey as hell, but I think these are they're hyped up for such a good reason. The formula on this is so stunning. Like, they don't even swatch as beautiful as they look on the cheeks. They have a little bit of a glow to them, but again, it's so finely milled and not chunky that it doesn't accentuate texture. And I just love the tone of this. I like almost didn't buy this because I always go for more peachy blushes, but my boyfriend picked this one out and I was like, yeah, I don't have any like that. And I feel like it just flatters my tones so much more than like a peachy blush, peachy orange blush, and the formula again is fantastic. You also get this little luxurious feeling compact, which I think, you know, it's great if you're paying that much for the packaging to be great. Super beautiful. I definitely want more shades of these. This formula has become one of my favorite. I didn't think I was gonna fall as much in love with this as I have recently, but I'm smitten over this blush. Not smitten. Okay, next moving on to highlight. It is raining. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Sorry if you can. My favorite highlight was the Connie Botanicals Prismatic Highlight. No. I'm definitely not a cream highlight person anymore. I feel like I just always reach for a powder highlight. And honestly, when I was picking powder highlights, there wasn't a ton that I was like torn between. There was only like 3 that I have here that were like really standout products for me this year. I feel like there's not a ton of powdered highlights in Clean Beauty. Clean Beauty, please make some more because like they're my favorite. Stop making cream highlights and make powdered highlights, or make both, you know? We could both be happy. But the first one I want to mention is a Bare Minerals highlight. All of these are the Endless Glow highlighters. All the shades are beautiful, but my favorite one in specific is the shade Zen, which is a white-based highlight, but it has a really pretty pinky shift to it. I love this because it's actually light enough for on my skin tone. It doesn't like darken the highlight points. And I think again, the pink tone of this just flatters the tones in my skin. And they're super pigmented, but finely milled, not glittery. I feel like there's a ton of highlights that are just like way too glittery, and I'm more of like a subdued highlight kind of person because again, I have textured cheeks. I don't want anything to draw that much attention, but I do just want like the glow back to my face. So I do love that one from Bare Minerals. My next favorite is the Pyt Upgrade Highlight. This specific shade though, this is Backstage Pass. It's a light champagne. Again, it is light enough so that it does show up on my skin. It doesn't make me look darker in the cheeks. This one's a little bit more of a metallic pearlescent as compared to the Bare Minerals one, but they're both the same. They're not glittery and they're not super chunky. These are also more affordable, which I think is great. I like their packaging as well. It's very durable. It's like a rubberized outside. You get a nice big size mirror in there. So yeah. 2 out of 3. I have one more. And my last one is the Honest Beauty Midnight Reflection Luminizing Powder. This is the old packaging that I still have. This is the same formula as the one I use for bronzer that I mentioned, but it's just a light champagne shade that I use as highlight. This is probably the most subtle highlight out of the 3. It's super smooth. It feels just like a face powder. You could honestly use this sort of like the Hourglass ambient lighting powders just to like add a little bit of glow all over the face. I really love this if I want a super natural highlight. I'm going for like a more everyday look. Just adds that beautiful sheen to your cheeks, but again, not shimmery, not chunky. It just has the perfect finish to it. That being said, if you like a more like beamy highlight, I don't think you would like this. You'd probably be underimpressed with the amount of sheen that it offers, but I just wanted to mention it for those of you who do like a lighter highlight. Okay, the next product is actually the same favorite for this year. It's the Eco Brow in Sharon. Did I even bring that over? So I still love the Eco Brow in Sharon. Before I switched to Clean Beauty, I was 100% a Anastasia dip brow kind of gal, just because I have really sparse areas in my eyebrows, so I like something that's really pigmented. It's really gonna fill those in without me having to like go over and over my brows. So this has become a favorite again this year. It's always my go-to. It is smooth. It doesn't last like super long like the Anastasia one does, but it does last all day without fading. It doesn't like completely set down, so I do always put a gel over it. I love the Eco Brow Gel, which I don't know, I think they took it off Credo Beauty. I'm not sure if they like still have it. I'll have to link it below and find it for you guys. I love that brow gel, but this is like the only brow product that was my favorite of 2019. There wasn't any other pencils or gels other than the Eco Brow one that I really loved enough to put in this video. I'm still on the hunt for that perfect brow pencil, but I feel like all of them are so expensive and I like go through them so quickly. Still waiting on an affordable clean brow pencil. World, hit me up. And then next up, my favorites from last year were the Han Cosmetics shadows. I think those are nice shadows. I don't use those a ton now. I definitely have favorites. I feel like there were a ton of eyeshadow releases this year for good reason. I feel like Clean Beauty was definitely lacking in the eyeshadow department and all these brands started to step up. So I have a couple different favorites for eyeshadows. Let's get into them. First off is a launch I was so excited for, and they definitely did not disappoint. These are the Ilia, the Necessary palettes. I have both the cool and the warm nude. No baby. I have both the cool and the warm nude here. I mean, these are just, they're beautiful curation of colors and finishes. This one's a little bit loose because I use it so much, but this is the warm one. Definitely my favorite. Just on my like eyes, I think it works the best. I really like how most of these are matte and then there's two shimmers. I really don't use the shimmers in these a lot, but they are a really gorgeous formula. The mattes in these, they were the first like clean eyeshadow that came out that I was just really impressed with. It's exactly what I was looking for in Clean Beauty. Like when these came out, I was always saying, I need a warm tone palette, I need a warm tone palette. And this came out and it just was like, yes, finally Ilia, thank you for answering my prayers to the Clean Beauty world for a warm eyeshadow palette. Love the tones, really easy to create a look. I just think they're great. I do also love the size of these. It's not a huge palette, but it's also not super tiny. Perfect for travel, but also like big enough that you can see yourself in it and all that jazz. They're just great formulas. The Cool Nude is also stunning. I love the cool tones in this because they're not super cool toned. Like I do mention the Aether Beauty palette, the rose quartz ones. I love the formula, but the tones in those I feel like are so hard to work with. They're so gray and just like ashy pulling. These are just cool enough, like especially that shade. I mean, you could even wear that with the warm tone palette. It's just this really gorgeous deep eggplant. I mean, this brown you could also wear with warm tones. Like they're just really versatile, and I just love how they took cool tones but they did them a little bit differently. You also get this gorgeous just like taupe shimmer. These are just stunning. I know they're a little bit pricier, but I think they're so worth it. I mean, you get 6 shadows. I think they're great. Great. Next favorite is something I would have never expected to be in my 2019 favorites. This is the Lawless The Little One palette. This is relatively new to Lawless. They did release the bigger palette, which I didn't try because it was so pricey. And I don't know, I just wasn't feeling it. Although it had warm tones, I didn't want to splurge that much. This one came out, I believe it's 20 something dollars. This is the perfect everyday palette if you like warmer tones. I love, again, only 2 shimmery shades. Most of them are matte. You get a white shade, you get this sort of more muted orange, you get a more pigmented orange. The perfect just transition shade, a deep brown, a matte black. These two, I don't really like the shimmers in here that much. I think they're a pretty good shimmer. I just don't really use them a lot. The main focus are really just these matte shades. Like this I would travel with. I use this every day if I'm just going for a super simple look. Like I usually will just start with this one and then use the 2 oranges, and then like that's my highlight shade and bam. You could even do liner with both of those. Like it's just a really great versatile palette. The packaging is my favorite just because these get like so fingerprinty looking, but they're really beautiful and again, more affordable. I would totally recommend them if you've been interested in trying Lawless, but you don't want to like commit to the one palette. So I only have one more eyeshadow favorite. I feel like even though there was a lot of clean shadow releases, I didn't discover that many this year. I'm really looking forward to seeing more clean eyeshadow palettes. I think for what I'm looking for now is just bigger palettes with more of a color story instead of just like filling in with basics, because like Clean Beauty, they were really like blank slate. Like we needed warm tone palettes, we needed basic colors, but now I want to see some more interesting palettes. I want to see colorful palettes. I feel like there really aren't any like neons or super bright shades to play with. There are a couple things, but I really just want to see expansion in that department. I would love to see brands go in that direction. But anyway, my last eyeshadow favorite are the Bodyography. These are their glitter pigments. These are so beautiful. I bought one of these and then automatically bought like 3 more because they're so stunning. The word glitter and pigment together kind of scared me. I'm not a fan of like glitter. I don't like fallout, but these are so cool. I have the shade Soiree on right now. So essentially these are a pressed glitter pigment, but they're not really super glittery. Don't be scared of the name glitter. These just add the perfect like touch to any eye look if you want to take it to the next level. I use these so much just with like a basic color. They just amp up your look. This is the shade Soiree, which I'm wearing on my eyes today with a matte blue. It's more of like a gunmetal blue, but so gorgeous. I'm gonna swatch all of them because I feel like they really deserve to be swatched. This one is my most neutral one, the shade Celestial. You can wear this every day and it's so pretty. There's the shade Celestial. By the way, I did find out about these from, I believe, Ali Glines. I was watching one of her videos. It was like an older video and she talked about these. And I picked one up and I was just so obsessed. This one is the shade Caviar. That's Caviar, which is this deep brown with just, they all have a very like similar shimmer to them. They're not like a thick glitter like the Rowan eyeshadows are. They're not that chunky type of glitter. They're super fine. They're just like so stunning. And then the last one I have, I think this one is my favorite. It's so unique. I'm running out of room here. This one is the shade Prism, which is the first one I got and what really made me fall in love. It's like this green base, but it has like a brown, or maybe it's like a brown base, but it has a green shift to it. It looks so cool. I think it just like amps up any eye look like I mentioned. These are really just like, they take your makeup to the next level. I totally recommend trying these. I buy these off of Amazon because you get that prime shipping, you know. These are just, they're stunning. Again, pick one up if you do like a pigment. They're not too glittery, so don't be scared by the word glitter. These are so good. Next up, my favorite eyeliner was the Physicians Formula Eye Booster, and again, it is my favorite. I really love the Pacifica Light Clean Eyeliner, I believe it's called. I don't have that one on hand. I would include it in this video if I had it on hand while I am mentioning it now, so I am including it. That one's great if you want cleaner ingredients than the Physicians Formula one, but this one I feel like is just my all-time favorite. It's the only liner with a brush tip. I feel like most liners have a felt tip and I want them to have a brush tip because this one is so good. You can get such a fine line. I'm so used to this. It makes doing liner so easy. It's always pigmented. It doesn't irritate my eyes because it is Physicians Formula, you know, a little bit better ingredients. Not totally clean, but like I still use this all the time. I will probably always repurchase this. I just think it's such a fantastic eyeliner. This is the holy grail of my wings right here. Then the next eyeliner I have to mention, this is the only pencil eyeliner I feel like I really liked from 2019. Also something I didn't think I was gonna like. This was like a whim of a purchase. I was like, oh, I'll try out the eyeliner too. I never get excited about pencil eyeliners, but this one is just on a whole nother level. It's the Kajal liner from Victoria Beckham. Bronze maybe? It doesn't say on here, but this is the like bronze one. These, like a Kajal, they're like super creamy and smooth. You could really like blend the heck out of these into a really beautiful wing, but they stay put so well. Like I don't get how they're creamy, yet they also stay super well. Great formulation. I'm really excited to see what else Victoria Beckham releases because I think the eye quads are also great and the like glitter pigments are fantastic as well. They haven't made it into this video, but this one definitely has. I feel like it's just a really interesting product. I feel like there's not a lot in clean beauty like that, like this specifically, so that's why I wanted to mention it. I just love the shade as well. I think it's beautiful for blue, brown, really any eye color I think would complement this shade. Okay, and my favorite mascara of last year was the Pacifica Dream Big Mascara. That was a great mascara. I would have to try that out again to see if I still like it. But I remember it was really lengthening and bold. I think it did flake a tiny bit, but it was just so good that like I live with the flaking. I do have two mascaras here that are just my favorites. The two mascaras for 2019 that I have to mention is the Ilia Limitless Lash Mascara. This is another product I didn't think I was gonna like. I like held off on purchasing it for the longest time because I just had this thing. I feel like all clean mascaras just weren't dramatic enough for me. And this is so stunning. It's soft and lengthening and fluttery and voluminizing without being too much. It doesn't clump up. It does not flake. The brush is great. I love these more like plastic, spiky, pointy wands. They're great on the lower lash line. I feel like some mascaras work on the top but not the bottom, and I do both, so I really need them to work for both. And this Ilia one is fantastic. I'll repurchase this. It's such a beautiful effect, hard to describe. Hands down, a really great clean mascara. And then the other one I have to mention is the Bare Minerals Lashtopia Mega Volume Mineral Base Mascara. Now this one I feel like it takes a little bit of like technique to get this to work well. The brush picks up an insane amount of product, like it's so clumpy on the brush, but when you really like work it through your lashes, it just gives you so much drama. It's definitely super voluminizing. This one I would say is more like a lengthening type of fluttery look. This one's super voluminizing, really dramatic. It would be great if you do like smoky eyes or you just want a super dramatic mascara. I love this. Doesn't flake, doesn't smudge, doesn't run, doesn't irritate my eyes. It just like checks off all the boxes. This is the little mini size. I have a full-sized backup as well. I wish the brush was a little bit better. It picks up a ton of product, but when you learn to work with it, it's just a really beautiful formula. So these two have definitely been great mascaras for 2019. Okay, we're in the home stretch here. My favorite lip products were the Red Apple Lipstick Liner and the Axology Lip Creams, the Axology Lip Crayons and the Clove and Hollow Lip Cream. So one of those has made it to my favorites again. It's the Red Apple Lipstick Natural Lip Liner. I mentioned before, like I don't have a lot of lip liners. This is like the only one I feel like works for me. I tried some other ones and they like flake right off my lips. This stays on really well. I do like this shade. I wish they came out with some more shades. Long lasting. It's just like a classic pencil. You can sharpen it. I think the tone's great. It works well. It doesn't like make me get blackheads around my lip line, if you know what I'm saying. I do have this on now. Really beautiful. Again, another favorite from last year that is making it to this year once again. Props to Red Apple Lipstick for their liners. Bye-bye. Then the other two I mentioned, the Axology Lip Crayons, I do really love those. Those are fantastic. But I have some other lip products that I wanted to mention this year. I will start really quickly with just mentioning my favorite lip balm, which is the Jane Iredale. This is the lip balm lip drink in the shade Flirt. I didn't know a lip balm could be like this. This was in a Petit Vour box. It has a very, very slight pink tint to it. I love the scent of this. It feels so like plush and bouncy on your lips, and it stays on without being super thick or oily. I just really love the formula of this. Like it really takes a lot for a lip balm to be unique, you know, and this one has made it to this video, so it's pretty good. And next up I have two different lip conditioner formulas I want to mention that I've been really loving this year. I feel like this year has been like the year of lip conditioners for me. First off are the Honest Beauty ones. This packaging gets like so dirty looking, which isn't my favorite. I think they updated these to be white though. I'm pretty sure they changed them. I don't know if you'll be able to see. This is the shade Lychee, which is a really light nude. And then I have this brighter one called Fruit Punch, which is right there. These are just fantastic. They stay on your lips. They offer really smooth coverage. Like they don't get streaky or patchy on the lips like some like lip conditioners can. They just give great smooth coverage. These are fantastic to have in your bag, on your vanity, literally anywhere. If you just want like a little bit of color but you want the moisturization of a lip balm, I would definitely recommend those ones from Honest Beauty. And then the more pricey option are the Ilia tinted lip conditioners. These are a little bit different. Where is it? There it is. These are a little bit different. I feel like these are more pigmented. These are almost like a very light coverage lipstick. They feel smooth on the lips and they give a very satiny sheen. They just make your lips look so healthy. I love the shades. My favorite is Little Sister and Oh Baby. They're like the lighter pinky nudes. Again, great like bag product, and they just give you the perfect amount of color and moisturization and beautifulness. What else can I say about tinted lip conditioners? They're great. Okay, and then I have 2 lipstick formulas and 2 glosses to mention. The 2 lipsticks I have are the Honest Beauty liquid lipstick. These came out and these are really innovative. They're not like any other liquid lipsticks that I own. I do have this shade on my mouth right now. Did I mention this is BFF? I love, love, love the tone of this. It's like a more taupey nude, a little bit deeper. They do take a while to dry down. I don't think they ever really dry down. They have sort of just like this satin finish to them, but they do last a really great amount of time. They don't dry your lips out at all. You do get opaque coverage with just 1 layer. These are great. I have a full swatch video of all the shades of these. If you're curious and want to see what they look like on the lips up close, for real, check that video out. It will be linked below. But my other lipstick formula that was my favorite for 2019 are the Bare Mineral Bare Pro lipsticks. Man, these are fantastic lipsticks. I was never like a traditional lipstick girl until I found this shade. This is the shade Cinnamon. It's actually super similar to the Honest Beauty shade. A really pretty, more like muted rose shade. These stay on your lips so well. These are essentially a liquid lipstick in a lipstick form. They're not super drying on the lips. They're easy to apply. You get so much opacity out of them, and they are matte, and they just like, I love how long they stay on your lips. Like you could go out and eat and drink and you still have that color on your lips. I think they make a great array of shades as well. They have so many beautiful ones. If you guys want a long lasting lipstick that's comfortable to wear and really has a great payoff, I would recommend this one. This would be great if you like a regular lipstick formula but want the longevity of a liquid lipstick. This is like the hybrid of those two. Okay, and then next for glosses, I have 2 here. First is the Kier Weiss lip gloss. I am so sorry that I like a lip gloss this pricey. I really didn't want to love these. I had a sample of one back in the summer and I just fell in love with how creamy they are. They're not sticky at all. They're so pretty. They have a nice scent, but it's not overbearing. If you want to like invest, that sounds weird. If you want a pricier lip gloss, I do really love them. They are top heavy because they are like refillable. So this like metal part is very heavy, but because of that, it just feels so luxurious. I have the shade Tenderness here, which is a gorgeous muted nude, super creamy, not sticky at all. They don't last the longest, but again, it's a gloss. Like I don't expect it to last super long. And I think these are just like a little luxury that I really love. And then the other lip gloss formula that really knocked my socks off. Other lip gloss formula that really knocked my socks off this year is the Tower 28 Lip Jelly. I wish I had the clear one. This orange one is gorgeous, but I feel like I would get more use out of the clear one. These are really shiny. I just put some on, but they don't have any stickiness to them. I'm really not a fan of a super sticky gloss, which is probably why I love these two. This packaging is just so cute. Super shiny, more of like just a modern makeup gloss. I think Tower 28 is really unique of a brand. Like they came in really appealing to like the younger generation, more of like a glossier vibe type of makeup line. They're super moisturizing. It's almost like a lip treatment in a lip gloss. I just love how they look and I think it's fantastic. More affordable. These are like 2 totally different ends of the lip gloss spectrum, but both fantastic, great, beautiful formulas either way. Okay guys, so that was all of the makeup products I had to mention for this year. I did want to mention my favorite eyelashes of the year because I know you guys ask me all the time what my favorite styles are, And I have two here that have really stood out to me this year. First off, these are the Curly Queen styles, which depending on your eye shape, you might love these, you might hate them. They're more of like a cluster lash, which on my eye I think are really gorgeous. They just really open up the eye. If you have like more of a cool eyeshadow look, I think it's cool because you have that space in between to actually see the color. I think they're so beautiful. They have a super thin band, which is like a necessity for me for lashes, so that's been my favorite style for sure. And then my other favorites are a recent discovery from Ardell. These are the naked lashes, specifically the 422 ones. These are very similar to the wispies. I have this exact pair on right now. These are like my backup pair. They're very tapered at the end, more of a fluttery light lash. If you want something more natural looking, these are just gorgeous. They are a little bit longer. If you're used to like demi wispies, these are longer. Personally for me, demi wispies like don't do much for me. I really want like some more length. They're just super natural looking. They also have like this tiered effect, so it really just looks like you have like eyelash extensions. They're just such a great like shape and style. And these two, they're very different depending on like what kind of look I'm going for, but those have definitely been my favorite lash styles of the year. Alright guys, that was it for my 2019 beauty favorites. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know in the comments below what one of your favorite beauty products from 2019 is. I would love to hear what you guys have been loving so I can also try them. Share the goodness with me, please. Comment below. I would love to hear from you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.